Hello everyone. In previous video, I have discussed about the few basic things involved in communication. Like what is non-violent communication and what are the basic elements involved in communication, what are the three main parameters needed to make a proper communication. Alright. So we will continue the uh, topics from the previous session. Fine. Okay, now we move to the basic things which are all involved in the communication, right? So the first one is frequency, right? We all know how to represent a signal, right? Either it is a sine wave or cosine wave, whatever it is, we know how to represent each type of a signal, right? So here, when complete cycle, we call that one as a time period. So time, we can measure the time period from one complete cycle. Alright. So here frequency describes the number of waves that passes a fixed place in a given amount of times. So we can simply say that frequency is inversely proportional to the time period. Right. So F is inversely proportional to 1 by T. So Fs is equal to 1 by T. So this is the formula to calculate the frequency. Alright. And the next one is about the wavelength. Correct. So wavelength is inversely proportional to frequency but directly proportional to the velocity of that particular signal, right? So we can define a wavelength as the distance between identical points in adjacent cycle of a waveform, which is propagated in space or in along a wire, whatever it is. So here the two diagrams represents how we can define a frequency and also how the wavelength can be defined, right? So here the wavelength is directly proportional to the velocity of that particular signal and inversely proportional to the frequency of that signal, right? So next one is about the bandwidth. We know bandwidth means it contains a set of frequencies with a continuous set of frequencies, right? So it can be measured in terms of hertz. So we define bandwidth as upper cutoff frequency minus lower cutoff frequency to calculate the bandwidth because it contains a set of frequencies, right? So here the purpose of communication is to transfer the information from the transmitter, which is located at one place, to a receiver which is usually far away from the transmitter. So we can send an email, we can WhatsApp it, whatever the purpose of communication it may be. All right. So here there are here I have shown the frequency range of different things like frequency range of AM, FM, very high frequencies, microwaves. So each thing is operating on a certain frequencies. So based upon the application and their usage, the frequency can be varied. Fine. This is about the basic three things involved in the communication. And next one is about the transmission modes. So basic three transmission modes involved in communications are simplex, half duplex and full duplex. So these three things are very important in transmission modes. Fine. What is meant by simplex? Correct. So simplex means it can able to send the data but it can't able to receive the data right back. So it is a unidirectional communication. It is a one directional communication. It can able to transmit the data but it can't able to reply. We just receive it but we can't able to reply for that information, right? For that simplex we can say a real-time example like a pager. So pages are very small devices. It will receive only only a short messages, like a short memo devices. Receive only a short messages. Next one is about the half duplex. So half duplex means a sender can transmit the data and also receive the data, but operation will take one at a time. At a time you can able to send or receive. Only one thing will be takes place at a time. So here we can say an example is walkie-talkie. We have seen a walkie-talkie in many places, right? So they used it to communicate once they receive the information. After receiving that information, they will transmit the information accordingly. Fine. And next one is about the full duplex mode. So full duplex mode, easily we can say our gadget, our mobile gadget is an example for the full duplex mode, right? So these are the three basic transmission modes. We can say this thing also and a growth of communication. So here also communication has grown. Initially they have used only a one-way communication. After that they have tried for a two-way communication, but one at a time. And nowadays we are using the bidirectional communication. At a time we are transmitting in our mobile gadgets, we can say we are using WhatsApp, and simultaneously we are going to the Twitter, and simultaneously we are going for the Insta. Likewise, we are using the n number of applications at the same time, right? So we can say these things are the generations of communication. Fine. And next one is about the transmission lines. So here the transmission lines is defined as the path which carries an alternating electrical signal from a source to the destination. Alright, so here the transmission lines are classified into 5 types: balanced two wire, coaxial cable, waveguide, microstrip, and fiber optics. So these are the 5 types of the transmission lines involved in the communication system. Okay, so we will discuss about these types of transmission lines in the next video. So thank you.